The watch pulses, 17 seconds. The silk on the victim's fingers unwinds, not fraying, not unraveling, but unwriting, as if the thread itself had been inked by a hand that knew its own obsolescence before it was born. My palm rests against his sternum, still warm from the ritual's last breath, and I feel the rhythm, my heartbeat echoing back to me through metal, through flesh, through the ancient architecture of this room's silence. The mirrors have stopped moving. 37 faces stare at the space where I stood, my youth with sharp collarbones and the scar above the left brow from falling off the barn roof in 87. My 30s with jaw clenched tight enough to fracture granite, my present self, hollowed, tired, eyes like two dark wells where hope was buried under case files and coroner's reports. All of them empty now, no reflection, only the corpse. The seventh, leaning into me like a lover who forgot how to speak. His forehead presses against my breastbone. I do not breathe. I do not dare. Below us, the glyphs on the floor flare crimson, not with hate but with recognition. Each curve of Abramelin's sigil pulses once in time with the watch. The seventh glyph, Sacrificium sine macula, glows brightest. Innocence is not preserved, it is consumed. Burned like incense to purify the air for something older than sin. The pocket watch on his chest ticks louder now, as if it had been muffled under layers of institutional indifference. The uniforms, the coroner's stamps, the bureaucratic ghosts who filed him away as deceased 34 years ago. Elias Vorne, born 1852. Cause: spontaneous systemic dissolution following prolonged exposure to inverted prayer cycles. He died holding a child's shoe in one hand and the first draft of this ritual in the other. And here he is, not resurrected, but completed. The air thickens with the scent of mare gone sour, of burnt almonds roasting inside glass lungs. The whispers rise, layer upon layer, as if centuries have been holding their breath just for this moment. You were never hunting him. He was hunting you. I remember the first corpse I found, a librarian in the downtown archive, seated at her desk with a book open on her lap, The Doctrine of Moral Innocence, her throat slit cleanly, no blood spilled, only a single drop caught beneath her lower eyelid, trembling like a tear, afraid to fall. The symbols carved into her forearms were not slashes, but hymns, each incision an invocation. I thought she was the anomaly. Then came the sculptor, found suspended in his own wax cathedral, arms outstretched as if crucified by his own genius. No marks of struggle, his eyes wide, unblinking, lips parted mid-laugh, as though he had been laughing at something only he could see, and then ceased to need laughter. Each victim, untouched by crime, untouched by violence, untouched by guilt. The judge who ruled in favor of the accused even when evidence screamed treason. The nurse who held dying strangers through their final breaths without once flinching from their pain. The child who never lied, even when silence would have saved her. I called them saints. I wrote them into my reports as proof. Monsters are human because humans choose purity over power, grace over justice, mercy over truth. But they didn't die for being good. They died because they were too pure to be corrupted. And I was the architect of that belief. I placed every report, every photo, every fingerprint on every blade and doorknob in this city's forgotten corners. I said, the monster is not in the blood, but in the silence after the scream. I believed it so thoroughly that I carved my name into the altar's foundation. My left hand, my good hand, the one I signed every arrest warrant with, and the one I used to turn pages of Elias Vorne's unpublished journals during late nights when coffee ran out and the city slept under its own guilt, is beginning to disappear, not rot, not decay, on writing. The skin lifts in precise polygons, a geometrical peeling, like parchment being unrolled from within. Beneath it, instead of muscle or tendon, A lattice emerges, hundreds of names etched in flowing script, identical to Vorne's hand. My own name, repeated, layered over and over like strata of a fossilized scream. Lena Rourke, detective, archivist, believer. Beneath them, newer inscriptions. You thought you were healing the city. You were harvesting its purity. Every life you spared became an offering waiting for a priest. The dead man you hunted was never your quarry. He was your reflection in a mirror you refused to face. A whisper, so close it vibrates inside my molars. I look up. The black feather pinned with the femur needle shudders. Not from wind, from weight. The orchids, the 7 vases arranged along the western wall, all tremble in unison. Their roots, curled inward like tiny fists, begin to pull tighter against the terracotta, and as if the soil itself is trying to climb out of its grave. The first bloom, 1894. I do not brush it off. It burns. Not with heat, but with memory. I remember that day in 1990, the day Elias Vorne died. Not in his bed, but at the foot of this very asylum, kneeling barefoot on frozen earth beneath a sky choked with falling stars. He had spent 40 years compiling every death he could find, every soul who had died untouched by corruption, every suicide where the hand held the knife but never flinched, every martyr whose last words were not prayers but acknowledgments. I am enough. He did not die of age. He died of completion. His body dissolved, not from disease, but because he had finally stopped needing to be seen. And so I took his mantle, because who else could? The city's monsters, they were predictable. Drunkards, thieves, zealots, addicts, but the virtuous, the ones who never raised a fist, never lied, never wavered in their conviction. They were the true anomaly. So I became what he could not, the living monument. I filed the reports. I named the ritual. I pinned his photograph to the evidence board and wrote beneath it, subject deceased, status active, and now his forehead is pressed against my breastbone. My hand, half transparent now, rests atop his sternum. The watch pulses again. 17 seconds, and the final glyph on the floor ignites. The seal of apostasy ascendant. The silence breaks, not with sound, but with weight. The corpse opens its mouth. No scream, no breath. Just a voice that has been waiting 34 years to be spoken aloud. I do not answer. I cannot. My left hand is no longer mine. It glows like a relic pulled from a tomb older than language. Eins Puls Silva, threaded with names I forgot I wrote. Sacrifice is the only prayer that does not beg. The purest soul is the one who never asks to be saved. A chime echoes, distant, metallic, from below. The gutter grate. Rainwater strikes once more. And for the first time since I picked up my first case file on Elias Vorne, I understand why he never left fingerprints, why every knife was clean, why every body bore no sign of violence, only reverence. He didn't die because he failed. He died because he knew the final sacrament required a priest who would outlive him. And so I did. 20 years of chasing ghosts, 20 years of proving monsters human, 20 years of writing his legend as if it were mine. I exhale now, for the first time without resistance, and the air inside this throne room shudders. The mirrors reflect nothing but absence. My hand, still floating, still translucent, begins to drift upward, not rising, releasing. The silk from the victim's wrists coils around my fingers like a living ligature. The watch opens, and within its face, not gears, not hands, but a mirror, I see myself, not as I am now, not even as I was when I first found his grave, but as he saw me, always, Elias Vorne stares back at me from within the pocket watch. His eyes dark, quiet, relieved. He does not speak. He does not need to. I am the final victim, the last offering. And I had no choice, because every law, every moral code, and every justice system in this city was written not to protect innocence, but to prepare it for slaughter. My fingers, now pure silver lattice, touch his eyelid gently, and he closes them. One breath, one pulse of the watch. The seventh orchid, born on the day I took my first oath as detective, unfurls its final petal. It dissolves into ash, and the moon, visible through the dome above us, is no longer a light in the sky. It is a wound, a tear in the fabric of everything I believed. I am no longer here. The hand floats. The corpse slumps slightly forward, resting fully against the throne's back. My reflection has vanished from all 37 mirrors. Only the watch remains, open, ticking once more, its mirror face now reflecting not Elias, but me. Still breathing, still standing, still whole, and yet nothing left to hold. The last whisper carried on the ash of orchid petals drifting down like snow. Silence does not fall. It settles, thick as velvet, dense as memory. Outside, beneath the wound of the moon, the city breathes, unaware. Another detective will come tomorrow, and find another corpse, with a watch on its chest, and a name etched in silver inside its frame. The sept. I am gone, but the ritual remains, and it is perfect. Your message,